Dear students, in previous video I discussed the simple or single column cash book. Now I am going to teach you about double column cash book. Just give me your few minutes and focus on me. Cash book. Rather than two separate cash and bank accounts, a double column cash book enable accountants to maintain the two accounts side by side. This allows for greater convenience when recording transactions. In particular, we can quickly see overall balances. Convenience cash and bank accounts are kept side by side in one place, and cost and time effective no separate bank account needs to be maintained. No any credit transactions record in cash book, in cash column or bank column. Recording in two column cash book, double column cash book. The basic rules of the double entry still apply. Cash received record on the debit side in cash column. Cash and receive check deposit into bank record on the debit side of the bank column. Any payment by cash or check record on the credit side in cash column and the bank column respectively. Contra entry. It is a very interesting entry. An entry is made on the debit side and the same entry is recorded on the credit side of the cash book. It is called a contra entry. To differentiate contra entries from the other entries, letter C is printed in the posting reference column on both the debit and credit side of the cash book. The basic rules of double entry for cash and bank transactions are applied. Cash deposit or withdraw from bank is example of the contra entry. So this means when we deposit the cash or we withdraw the cash for business. So this is the example of the contra entry because it will be added, will be recorded in both sides, debit and credit of the cash. Rules. Remember these rules, very important. Cash in hand, balance BD brought down. It always comes debit side of the cash account. Bank balance. Yes, bank balance can become on the debit side and can become on the credit sides. Debit side of the bank account mean we have enough money in our bank account. Credit side of the bank column, credit balance of the bank account, this mean it is overdrawn or overdraft. So this means we have negative balance in our bank account. When we receive the cash, always posting on the debit side of the cash column. When we pay the cash, always record on the credit side of the cash column. When the cash or check deposit into bank account, so record on the debit side of the bank column. And when we make the payment by the check, record on the credit side of the bank column. Cash deposit into bank account. So same amount record in the debit side of the bank column and same time, same amount record in the credit side of the cash column. This is contra entry. Cash withdraw from the bank account. Same amount record in the debit side of the cash column, and the same time same amount record in the credit side of the bank column. It is also contra entry. So cash deposit into bank and cash withdraw from the bank, that is the very good example of the contra entry. This is the format of the two column cash book. It is same. So debit and the credit only, it is same like as the single column cash book. But in double column only one column will be added, that is the bank account. So his debit side, you can see here the gray area is mentioned the debit side. So date, details, LF, ledger folio, cash and bank. Date, details, LF, ledger folio, cash and bank. This is the green area. This is the credit side. So you remember this debit side. So all cash deposit record in the cash column. So sorry, all cash receipts record in the debit side of the cash column. All cash or check deposit into bank record on the debit side of the bank column. So debit side of the bank column. When we issue the check and it will be dishonor due to any reasons, so it will come on the debit side of the bank column. Now on the credit side, all cash payment, credit side of the cash column we will record, and all payment through the check always record on the credit side of the bank column. Any deposit check dishonor due to any reasons record on the credit side of the bank column. Now you must remember these rules whenever we will solve the questions. Let us take a look at a practice questions for more clarity and better understanding of the double column cash book. Now this is the questions for the double column cash book. You can see the questions that the Adam company use a double column cash book to record its cash and bank related transactions. It engaged in the following transaction during March 2023. So these are the transactions during the month of the March 2023. So what is the requirement? Record the above transactions in double column cash book. Here, this is the format of the double column cash book. You can see here there is a two sides is there, debit and credit. Each side have the 5 column. First of all, we will give the heading. What is the heading? Adam company's cash book. So you can see here the Adam's cash book for the month of March 2023, and in their sub column, that is the date, details, LF, ledger folio, cash column, bank column. This is a debit side. Then date, details, LF, ledger folio, cash column and the bank column. This is the credit sides. So first of all, the first March, you can see here the first March, the cash balances What is the cash balance? 1450. It is given in the bracket debit. If the debit is not given, it must be debit. And bank balance is 1500 debit. So if it will mention the credit, so then it is the credit balance. But here it is mentioned the debit, so it is the debit balance. So if it is not mentioned any such type of debit or credit, so it's understood it is a debit balance. On 1st March, on the debit side, we will write the opening balance. These are the opening balance. So here you can see the to the balance brought down in cash column, we will write the cash amount. So here 1450, and in bank column we will write the amount of the bank 1500. On next date, the 2nd March, paid Mark and Company by check. So this means now in 2nd March we are paying the check to Mark and Company. So whenever we pay by bank, pay by check, it always on the credit side on the bank column. So here on 2nd March we will see here the by Mark and Company. In the bank column we will write the amount of the bank payment, that is 120. So in 8th March, purchase stationery for cash. Now we are purchasing the stationery. This means we are giving the cash. So it is on the credit side in the cash column. So here you can see here the 8th March, buy stationery 25 in the cash column. Next, in 12 March, we purchase merchandise for cash 525. Merchandise mean goods. So now we are purchasing, so we pay the cash. So now on the credit sides, we write the amount in the cash column. So then it is 12 March, by purchase account 525. Next, 30th March, sold merchandise for cash. So now that means we are selling the goods on cash. So when we sold the goods, we will receive the money. So on the debit side, in cash column, we required these transactions. So here you can see here the 30th March, 2 sales, amount is 1800. Next, on 15th March, cash deposit into bank. Now we are depositing the cash into bank. This is a contra entry. When we deposit the cash into bank, bank debit, because the amount is goes into the bank account, and cash credit because the amount is going from the business to bank account. So here this is a contra entry. So on the debit side, we will write the 15th March and amount is right in the bank column and to cash. In ledger folio, we will mention the C. See, this means contra entry. And the same time, this same amount will be recorded on the credit side. On 15th March, by bank, C contra entry, the amount will be written in the cash column. Here in the debit side of the bank column, and here is the credit side of the cash column, because the amount is go to the bank account. Next, on 17th March, withdraw from bank for personal use, for personal expenses. So this means now we are withdraw the cash not for the business. If the cash is withdraw for the business, then it will become the contra entry. But now it's not the contra entry because cash is withdrawn for the personal expenses. So on the credit sides we will mention this one. So here you can see here on the 17th March by drawing we are using for the personal expenses. So and here we are withdraw the cash from the bank. So this means we will write the amount in the bank column, that is 40. Next, on 19th March, issue a check for merchandise purchase. Now we are purchasing the goods and we are paying, instead of the cash we are paying by check. So when we will pay the check, so then we will mention on the credit side of the bank column. So here the entry is become, recording is become 19th March by purchase account, and amount we will mention, we will record in the bank column of the credit side. Next, on 20th March, drew from the bank for office use. Now the amount is draw for the office use. So now it's become the contra entry because first of all the cash comes from the bank in the office. So it is the contra entry. The cash column is debit and bank column is credit because the amount is cash is increase and the in bank account the amount is withdraw. So the amount will be minus since here. So here on the debit side we will record here 20th March to bank account, and in LF we mention the C contra entry, the amount is 150, and the same time this amount will be, same amount will be recorded on the credit side here on 20th March by cash, the contra entry, and the amount is right in the bank column 150. Next, 22nd March we will receive a check from the Peter and Company and deposit it into bank immediately. So bank is the debit because the check is deposit into the bank. So in here 22nd March to Peter and Company, and in bank column we will write the 880. Next, on 25th March paid a check to Daniel and Company 270. So here we are paid by bank by check. So we are mentioned in the credit side of the bank column. So here on 25th March by Daniel Company Incorporate 270 amount will be mentioned on the credit side of the bank column. Next, 26th March bought furniture for cash for office use. So now we are purchase the furniture and we are pay the cash. So credit side of the cash column we will mention is here on 26th March furniture, buy furniture, we will mention the amount 175 on the cash column of the credit side. Next, on 30th March withdraw from the bank for office use. So for office use we are withdraw the cash. So this is the contra entry. So this means the cash is debit, cash column is debit and bank is credit. So here on debit side we will write the 30th April, 30th March to bank account, and in LF we mention the contra C, amount is 145. and the same time, same amount we will record on the credit side of the cash book in the bank column. Here on 30th March, buy cash. In LF we mention the C contra, and here the amount we will mention 145. So now we recorded all the transactions during the month of the March. After recorded all the transactions during the month of March, we will find the final result of the March. What is the method? To find the closing balance of the March, here the debit side of the cash column, total, you will total this one, it is 3545, and what is the total of the debit side of the bank column, that is 3230. And now you will rough total of the credit side of the cash column, that is 1575. And what is the credit total of the bank column, that is 1355. Now you can see this one, the debit total of the cash column is greater than the credit total of the cash column. So what is the difference between the debit total and the credit total? That is our balance of the cash column, that is 1970. This is a by balance carried down, date is 30th. And now for the bank debit total is greater than the bank credit total. So this means the difference is same on the credit side will come, that is 1875. So here you can easily check this one, the total of both cash and bank debit side is greater than the total of the both cash and the bank column. So here the balance carried down is come on the credit side, and that is called the debit balance. So here, and this balance carried down is transferred to the opening balance for the month of April. So in here, first of all, you close this one, you will write the total is 3545 and 3545. Same, the bank total is 3230 and here 3230. So this, you make the rough total for this one and you delete this one. You will use the lead pencil for finding the total, or you can use the rough paper for finding the balance total of this one. So on 1st April, this total become opening total to balance brought down, and the total is 1970, and for the bank 1875. So now this is our questions. We solve the questions and we know how to calculate the balance at the end of the month. Thank you very much. For the benefits of the other learners, share and subscribe it. See you soon. Take care.